This game has the potential to become the next big indie hit. You know, like how Vampire Survivors kind of popularized an entirely new genre. Arise Dark Lord is a new action RTS hybrid from the lads over at Introversion Software. These are the fellows that created highly acclaimed indie titles that have always garnered great reviews and even awards, but they've never made a huge commercial success. Their studio was always running with a thin margin and were even at the verge of bankruptcy. That is, until they released Prison Architect. The success of that game has given them the freedom today to work on two titles concurrently. The Last Starship, which was launched earlier this year, they are continuing to update that, and this game, Arise Dark Lord, which is in very early development. It's a rather tiny side project for the studio, but from what I played of the prologue, which you can try it out over at itch.io, I've put a link in the description below. I think this tiny project could actually be huge because it takes the bones of an RTS and simplifies it. Just like how you control your minions in that old classic game, Overlord and Overlord 2. Remember those games? Yeah, those came out in 2007 to 2009 ish. Arise Dark Lord has your units, orcs in this case, follow you around as you carry your rallying banner with you. This is how you control your units. Use the rally flag to bring them to you or to attack the enemy. There's no micro involved here, which makes this a much more approachable RTS hybrid than a vast majority of games in the genre that is coming out right now. But there have been attempts in the past of releasing simplified RTS titles or RTS Lite. And I think I can safely say those have somewhat failed to get much interest. I think they either took too much out of the RTS fundamentals or set it in a very boring theme with very grindy and repetitive gameplay. One thing the developers over at Introversion seem to understand about what makes an RTS awesome, at least one of the awesome things, is creating a snowball. You eventually amass a huge army to roll over the enemy. Now, this is the fundamental difference with a lot of simple RTS games out there, which tend to limit you to controlling just a few units. Arise Dark Lord is not making this mistake. In the prologue, you will summon many orcs from the evil realm and even reanimate the dead, which will give you much more powerful undead units. So there is a real quality here to building up your evil army and rolling up to the nearest town and destroying them. But the towns won't sit back idly too, because Arise Dark Lord is also a tower defense game. You will be attacked at certain intervals by armies sent by these towns. The Dark Tower is the symbol of your ultimate evil prowess. The humans will go after it, so you need to mine for stone and chop down wood to build defensive structures around it to help you defend your evil domain. So yeah, there is a simple economy and base building here. There are all the fundamentals that make an RTS game fun here, instead of ripping it out and focusing on only one thing. Arise Dark Lord is also thematically excellent. This is, of course, a strength of Introversion, who can make simple pixelated graphics look so cool and have a clear visual design language that sets their games apart. And it looks like an old school homage to the Lord of the Rings, well, from the perspective of the Dark Lord Sauron, or, or rather a copyright free, unnamed Dark Lord. The prologue is absolutely brilliant because it does what an early build is supposed to do. It made me want to play more of the game. What's here are the foundations for an action RTS hybrid, easy to understand and play without sacrificing too much in the name of streamlining things for an audience that may not be big into RTS games. One thing Introversion is really good at is having a very cool creative vision and knowing exactly who their audience is. And I think Arise Dark Lord visually, thematically, mechanically is smack dab on point. Arise Dark Lord, which is being targeted for a 2027 release, comes out at just the right time when the RTS genre is seeing a bit of a resurgence. With big RTS titles on the horizon, the RTS genre is bound to attract newcomers who may be curious to try it out. And perhaps Arise Dark Lord may be a gateway RTS to an audience not accustomed to the skill level required for some of the more competitive side of the genre. Arise Dark Lord has every chance to become a huge indie hit, crossing even the niche audience of RTS gamers. It could have that vampire survivors factor, by simplifying and combining genres to create an addictive loop. And I want to talk about that addictive loop because this is the most significant thing that will determine whether people keep playing this or shelve it after one or two playthroughs. What's missing is a rewarding campaign that provides more variety, perhaps some persistence that encourages replaying the campaign with new powers or even special modes that adds a difficulty twist. I don't think every game needs to be a roguelite hybrid though. That seems to be the trend these days. I'm genuinely curious to see how Introversion will develop this game. What sort of a campaign are we getting and what game modes will it have? Anyway, do check out the prologue for yourself. Tell me what you thought of it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, farewell, friends.